Government grants for heat pumps and other renewables. What are they? What is the eligibility criteria? And what are the key things you, as the homeowner, needs to know? This is what we'll be focusing on today. If you're new here, it would really help us out to like and share all the videos. We'll be posting regular content that is easy to digest and suitable for the homeowner. So if you subscribe, you'll keep up to date with all of our latest videos as well. Let's talk about heat pumps. If you're installing a heat pump, you may be eligible for a government grant of £7,500. With most heat pump installations costing around 15k, this government grant could halve your installation costs. The grant is called the Boiler Upgrade Scheme, BUS for short, and is an upfront payment to incentivise you to replace your existing heating system with a heat pump. The grant is governed by a body called MCS, the Microgeneration Certification Scheme. To qualify, you need to use an installer that is MCS accredited, like ourselves. This should mean that they are technically competent and the products that they use meet the correct standards. It is installer-led, which means your chosen installer will make a BUS application on your behalf, liaise with Ofgem on most matters related to the scheme, tell Ofgem when they've installed your heating system, claim the money from Ofgem at the end of the project. For domestic properties, when you're simply replacing your existing heating system with a heat pump, your eligibility will depend on a couple of things. Number one is having a valid EPC. That is an energy performance certificate that is done in the last 10 years that is free of cavity wall or loft insulation recommendation. Now, if you look at your current EPC, there might be a number of recommendations, say make improvements to the windows or make internal or external wall insulation. When we're looking at the grant, the only recommendations that you need to make sure you rectify are the cavity wall insulations and the loft insulations. These are the only ones MCS enforce, and that's because they're seen as quick fixes that the homeowner can make. The second one is whether you plan to have a gas boiler on the property. Now, the MCS guidance make it very clear that you need to supply a heat pump that is capable of doing the heating and hot water for the whole property. It also specifies that a hybrid system, so a system with a heat pump and an existing fossil fuel heating system, is not eligible. So we often have our clients say that, oh, I want to keep a backup for our gas boiler. This is fine, but you won't be eligible for the government grant. In my opinion, it doesn't make sense to do this, considering gas boilers are being phased out. It's not the most sensible idea to design a system that is suitable for a gas backup. In addition to this, new builds are not eligible for the scheme, with the exception of self-builds. These are properties that have been built mainly using the labour or resources of the first owner and have never been owned by a business or organisations. Finally, grants are not available for social housing, and this includes shared accommodation, or properties where they've already installed a heat pump and they've already benefited from some sort of government subsidy. For solar panels, MCS also govern a scheme called the Smart Export Guarantee. This isn't as robust as the Boiler Upgrade Scheme, but still provides a financial compensation for the exported electricity that you send back to the grid. In order to meet MCS accreditations for these installations, you're not allowed to install PV panels closer than 400 millimeters from the edge of the roof, and you also need to use a suitably sized inverter. Your solar panel installer should go into a bit more detail, taking into consideration the specific size of your solar panel system. In addition to this, you also need to have a smart meter, so you're able to track how much electricity you're actually exporting back to the grid. The amount that you can get back from the scheme will vary from energy provider to energy provider, with Octopus Energy providing some of the most lucrative rates at 15p per kilowatt hour. Now, while this isn't a substantial amount, it still provides a small financial incentive as well as the free electricity that you're gaining from the solar panels. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was all clear. If you have any more questions, I've left the link to our website below.